Well, here we go. This is our last entry about the 5 lines of code book by Christian Clausen. We're going to wrap up the end of, I guess this would be chapter 6. What we'll be discussing today, is we're going to be eliminating enums refactoring. It's going to be a different way than we did it before, but it should be pretty interesting. It's a little tricky, so it'll be a good thing to practice. So that being said, let's do this thing. All right, so last time we spent a lot of time simplifying and getting rid of the what's it called, I guess we're encapsulating the data. So and when we ended it, basically we had trouble getting it to work right with this here. We wanted to get rid of this transform and turn this into a constructor. So if we do that, then down here, we wouldn't need to do a transform of the map, because basically as soon as you create the map, it's going to go and do this, which was the transform. And it only happens once. So that's what we should be able to do. And so when we built it and looked at it and said, okay, let's go and check it out. Holy cow, it's not working. What's up with that? Well, I did some digging and some noodling and some drying stuff. And I figured that, this map object here really needs to not be up here at the top. That really we need to have it down here. Where do we create the map? Right here. So if we go ahead and move this here, so move the object here, it's going to be referencing all the tiles which are above it. So evidently in TypeScript, how things are located in the file matters. And since I'm not really familiar with TypeScript, I'm new to that, I have difficulty. Well, so that's still not working. Oh, because it needs to be the raw map, right? So take this one more time. We need to move it down here, put it here, boom. And then we need to take this, put it here. Okay. So that the map can use the map object, and the map object can use all the raw map stuff. And I bet this time it'll work. Yes. So this is one of the advantages of having these really tiny, 5 lines of code bits, because all the little pieces are small and you can move them around relative to each other. So we got that working. So let's go ahead and come here. What did we do? We transform method map constructor, right? Well, that's exactly what we did. Boink. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to look at this raw tile thing, and if we look right here, we've got this raw tile enum, and really we want to get rid of the enum, because we had this is one of the first things we one of the first things we learned. It says, you know, these enums tend to get kind of messy. So what we'll do to replace that, we'll create interface raw tile value. Okay, bear with me here. So air value, so implement the raw tile value. Okay. And then, so that would be like air value. What other things do we have? Well, here, we'll just do this. Got air value. Got flux value. Falling stone. Okay, so now we have a value class for each of the enums. So now if we look at, so you got this raw tile, you got a raw tile value. What we also want to create is we need to replace the raw tile thing. So we'll create this thing. So we'll just use this to sort of replace the raw tile enum. We're going to create this object, this class type called raw tile 2. Okay, and now for each one of these entries, we will go ahead and create an object. And this will be static read only air equals new raw tile 2. And it will be initialized as a new air value. Okay. And then, so we'll do that. So, but we're going to need to create our private constructor private value, which will be a raw tile value. So see how that works? So now basically every one of these enums is going to be replaced with a class of this raw tile 2, and it'll have a raw tile value. So let's go ahead and replace air with flux and unbreakable and player stone falling stone I'm sorry, this is key 1 block 1 2. All right, so now we have a value associated with each one of the enum values. All right. now. So so we've got this raw tile thing. Let's so now we'll create, this is a raw tile. We need to create it here. So yeah, we'll just do this here. So we're going to create a constant collection tiles. Okay. Or tile2.air. Tile2.flux. I know this is a little tedious, but it's going to actually clean things up nicely here. Just bear with me here. Tile2.layer stone falling stone box falling box. Oh, it's right there. Oops. Dot key one block one. Oh, there we go. All right, so now we have a collection of constants that's just like this enumeration. And we're going to be using that momentarily here. So let's go ahead and just sort of mark this spot. Now, we've got our map object way down here in the code, right here. And our raw map. So what we'll do now is for our raw map, since we want to get rid of the raw tile enumeration, let's do that. Okay. So we go here. So instead of that being raw tile, I got just a number, because that's all it is, just a bunch of numbers at this point. Okay. And then here, this transform tile. Now we're going to use that raw tiles collection to identify everything in the map. Okay. And then in the, there's a, where is it? Transform tile. There's another function here, transform tile. So we're going to have transform tile use a raw tile 2 instead of a raw tile. Okay, and now all this stuff doesn't work because it's trying to reference a raw tile enumeration instead of a raw tile 2 object. So what we want to do is we're going to, what we're going to do is basically we're going to take this transform tile function and we're going to push it up into the classes, okay? So we will basically, each one of these is going to return a new tile object for its particular value, okay? So let's see how we do that. So in the interface, what we will do is we will add a transform method and it will return a tile. Okay, And then for error value, we will have a transform method. It will return a new return. Come on. New error object, right? So let's, yeah, this is going to be a little tedious. Okay. Okay. So they're not going to all return errors. We got to have them return the right object. So transform will return a new. One will return new flux. Will return a new unbreakable player. Oh, that's right. This is not a player. This is a player tile. Because remember earlier we changed the player tile. We added the player object, which is not a tile. And so we had to rename the player tile object. And stone. Now this, why is that causing trouble? Well, because remember, we now have a stone, instead of having two different objects for a stone and a falling stone, we now have a stone, and this one will be a resting. And then this will be a stone falling. Remember how we did that? Then we do the same thing for box. New box. Okay, and then you got key one. Well, now why isn't that working? Well, remember, we have the keys are identified with a color. So this is a yellow key. And so it won't be like key one and key two. It will be a key and it's associated with the color. Same thing with the lock one. Be a lock, and it will have a color that matches its key. We did that a few weeks back. And then this will be a new key. And make this a blue key. That'll be a blue lock. Okay, so now we've got all these things here. And we come down to come down here to where everything's red. Now, the only thing left here is basically we replace this big switch with a tile. And since it's a raw tile too, let's see, that right, so we will do we're going to basically return the tile.transform. Right? Now, why isn't this working? Transform, because it doesn't exist on type raw tile 2. Really? Here's your raw tile values, and they all have transforms. Raw tile, oh, right, because raw tile 2 now has a new function, which is a transform function, and it returns a tile. And what this will do then is we will return, why is that so hard for me to type today? Okay, and wait a second. So yeah, it'll be this dot transform, right? So basically, whatever kind of object this is created as, we will return its transform method. And then down here, we just say, transform, tile, transform yourself from a number to whatever object you need to be, right? And so let's go ahead, see if I did it right. Okay. Oof. So that means we've got something out of order. So that tells me that we've got the raw tiles here. So what's out of order? What's not being able to be found? So we got this enum here. Pardon me. We got the raw tile value is here, and that's talking to the tile objects which are below it. Well, that's not very useful. Raw tile value and the raw tiles and the constant, those all need to follow the tile objects because they haven't been created yet. So, and we got to put them below the keys, input stuff. So, yeah, so we can put them in here between these. Let's try that, see if I was right. Okay, nope, I was not right. So, got the transforms. You got these here, new air value. Oh. This needs to be a flux value. And this needs to be an unbreakable value. Sorry about that. Let's try this now. Mr. Smarty Pants. Okay. Still not liking it. So we've got this constructor, we got the raw tile values, using raw tile twos, creating new values, and those values are defined up here, some value, and they've got the transform method, and that's here. Raw tiles are down here. They use these up here. Raw tile 2 air. Raw tile 2 is here, and that's air, so that's all up there. Air value, now let's do here, lock 2 value is up here, lock 2, and lock is up here. So everything is in order. And what am I missing? Anybody here know? Feel free to turn on your sound and tell me what's going on. What am I missing here? So here's our map. That's a tile. It's a raw map, right? And use a tile. What did I miss? Is this map correct? Should that be, no, that uses tiles. Those are tiles. The map is down here. It's defined before it's used. The raw map is here. This doesn't use a raw map. Oh, there's, well, there's a player here. It's used before it's defined. Does that need to go up here? I don't know. Let's see. You know, there's probably something in here that will warn me what's going on. Let's see here. You got your settings. And they're like, here you go, tools. You got developer tools. There we go. Boom. Raw tile transform. Maximum call stack size exceeded. Raw tile 2 transform. Well, that's a problem. So raw tile 2, what is that? Just raw tile 2.transform. So the transform calls this transform. Okay, so we come down here and we say transform tile. And who calls transform tile? This is called here in map. Map calls transform tile with the raw tiles, and the raw tiles are defined here. So here's the raw tiles. So it's one of these, and it's a number. So basically that number would be an index into this array of constants. So this set of numbers index into this set of constants, and then we pass, for instance, raw tile 2.air. So let's step through this. We'll be the computer. So we're going to transform raw map 1, whatever, 0, 0, which is a 2. 2 is a 0, 1, 2 is an unbreakable. We go here to unbreakable. We say down here in transform, we say tile.transform. So we go to unbreakable.transform. So let's go to unbreakable. It's the tile value, unbreakable value transform. So we create a new unbreakable object. And then here we say for the raw tile 2, say this dot transform, so it's an unbreakable, so we call it unbreakable. So it returns a new unbreakable, right? Unbreakable value. It's an unbreakable. I'm just wondering what's going on. Static real. So it's saying that I've got a call stack. Do I have something named wrong? New? This worked just fine the last time I tried it. Okay, don't need you. Anyone has any suggestions? I'm wide open. So there's our tiles. There's all of our strategies. State and the player. So I don't need to worry about any of those. This enum can just go away. There's all my classes. Key configuration. Raw tile value. Use the tile, what's up there? Use the air, which is up there. So this is in order. So raw tile value is an interface defined there. So everybody uses the interface. It's already been defined. Use the transform object, returns a tile. That's, there you go. Let's just squeeze this down a little bit. So key lock, box, stone, unbreakable. I'm just confused. Well, you know what we could do? You just go and undo it all. It didn't take us all that long to do all this stuff. There. So we got the build it. Yep, and so this is still working. So that's good. And now let's go back up here. This is a refactoring practice. So if we get it down, then we'll know it better. Right? So we've got here's the raw tile right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to here say interface raw tile value. Implements raw tile value. Okay. And then we'll have, oh, maybe I misspelled something. Like that. So that implements row tile values. So we got all those classes defined. Okay. And then we'll have a raw tile 2. He's got the constructor below. Maybe the constructor needs to be down here. Okay. Got that, but we're going to need to create this for all of these as well. These are constants, so we make them uppercase. Okay. Okay, and then this is what we did last time. This time I remembered. Okay, so we've got all that defined. And then we need to go up here where we've got this and we'll create our constants, right? Const tiles. So why is that red? Probably because I haven't defined it yet. Okay. Right. So it's used before its declaration. All right. So we'll take it. And we'll put it here. Okay. Now, since we've got that, this all refers to this all refers to this, and this can now be commented out, right? So we see where it's going to be problematic here. So this is a raw tile, so we go back, change this to just a number, right? And we come down here to our map class, right? And so the transform tile function, don't we have a transform tile function? Oh, I'm sorry, it's in the constructor right here. There's a transform tile function. So that's going to not just do the raw map, it will be raw tiles sub raw map. Okay, so it's going to index, this number is going to index into our list of tile value objects. And then this will be a raw tile 2. And that's where we now, So that's where this blows up because we're not using a raw tile anymore. We're using a raw tile 2. So this is where we go back up here to raw tile value, right? And for the interface here, we're going to say it's going to have a transform method that will return a tile. We say transform and say return new air. And you don't like that because why? Implements the raw tile value. Transform. Maybe I misspelled something like that. That could be. All right, so let's just do this here. Boom, boom. Okay. Ollie, I don't know what your problem is here. That matches, that matches. Okay. Okay, so all that's cleaned up now. So we've added that, and then in here, raw tile 2 now has a transform method that will turn this dot transform. I didn't know we had to do that. Oh, I guess I did. Shows you how well I know my TypeScript. Okay, so now we'll just say tile dot return tile dot transform. And then we'll comment all this out. Okay. Nope. Still doesn't like it. Maximum call stack size exceeded. I just don't understand. So that does a transform of the tiles. Transform tile is called by this dude here. So it's for every entry in there, we're going to call transform tile. And it's going to go in here. It's going to go and extract that dude out. So it'll be raw tiles. The first one will be a 2. That 2 goes up here, corresponds to, where's my, where'd it go? Here, 0, 1, 2, unbreakable. So raw tile 2. So it's going to go raw tile 2. It's going to say transform raw tile 2. It's going to call a transform function on raw tile 2, which is unbreakable value. And then they'll go to unbreakable and say, okay, transform will say new, return a new unbreakable. So we're going to have an unbreakable. Maximum call stack. So calls transform and transform and transform and transform. So I think I may have something misspelled here because maybe it has to do with the player. So we've got the player value, right? Returns a player tile. And this player returns a player value. And this tile 2 player is a player value. Player value returns a new player tile. Unfortunately, it's all just kind of, you have to do it all or none. Right? Anybody here watching this, watching me embarrass myself? Nope, it's just me, myself, and I. Okay. So I suppose I should have just recorded this last night when I had it right the first time. So raw tile 2. face tile, raw tile 2, this dot value dot transform. Because that's what we're doing, right? Getting this object and we're getting the value, which is my private here, dot transform, because this dot transform is just going to go and call, I don't know, should that even, I don't, oh yeah, it's going to be calling itself. It's a recursive call. Oh man, none of you caught that? What is the matter with you? What is the matter with you peoples? Look at that. So we got it all refactored. Now, yeah. So what we have now is basically 512 lines. We started at around 300 lines. And here, we can get rid of this. That can go away. And then this crap down the bottom can go away. Okay, so 400, so it's less than 500 lines. And this may be the only method with more than 5 lines in it. We do a quick look for, oh, this map. So we should probably, we could clean that up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically there's 2 functions that we could clean up. A little further, and this is all just classes. Boom. Yeah, oh, right. So it's not 5 lines for an object, it's 5 lines for a method. So basically we could break this up, turn this into a method, right? Structure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, that's just 5 lines. Look at that. Just looked like it because the this variable definition was right above it. So everything in there is 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this has 7. So this is our game loop. So we could update and draw. I wonder here. What another thing we could do is, you got your player here, your raw map here. These are still global variables. We could make those into local variables. Do we have any other global variables in that code here? Just those constants. Window. So, and map. So you've got map, and you've got player and raw map. So we could go and refactor those by stuffing them into, like map, raw map, and player. We could go and define those here on the window onload, and then pass that into the game loop. Oh, we might give that a try. Let's see here. Let's go with map. So we'll stick map into the onload. I don't know if this will work at all, because I don't know TypeScript very well, but it's worth a try. Let map equals new map. Okay, and we'll say game loop map. Game loop break. There's map draw. So draw is going to have to, oh, here's game loop. So map. So draw is going to have to take a map. Right. Okay. What's this here? Update. I'll have to take a map. Who calls updates? This guy calls update. Okay. And then this map, push horizontal, has needs to take a map. So we'll have to see who calls push horizontal. And then this is map remove. So this is remove lock. So that will have to take a map. So let's look at push horizontal, add a map here. Okay. And remove lock. So here, remove lock. So move vertical, move horizontal. So basically we're going to have to take a map. This is getting perverse. So move horizontal, move vertical. So that's all of these. They're going to have to take a map. Great. I'm going to probably just break everything here. And lock. Okay. And what else breaks here? Move horizontal. Okay, so that means that this needs to take a map. Look at that. It should just be x, y, and dx. Okay. So it all yeah, it's not, okay, I see redness up at the top here. All right. Your full strategy, your player. Okay, so we got that working. Wow. I kind of broke everything. Let's come back to that. Okay. Look at that. That was quite a change. I have no idea if that's going to work. Let's give it a shot, see what happens. Yeah. Uncaught type error cannot read property update undefined. Update. Okay. Game loop goes here to update map. We pass in the map. So where's update? Pass in the map. Handle inputs. Map.update. Right there. And it's saying that it can't read the property update. Undefined. Game loop index. Game loop update. Game loop update. You create the map, pass that into game loop. Game loop's got the map. Load. Yeah, see, I have no idea how all this stuff works. So, I don't know. It's crazy. It was worth a shot. It's still just me. So, I'm not going to send this one out. This is crap. So.